This has both of us stressing out a little bit. The countdown to tax time.
Taxes.
I know, it is on.
It always creeps up on you, doesn't it?
It does, and I always think at the beginning of the year, this is going to be the year.
Yeah, where I'm going to be
do it
super
early.
organized and get it done. That just doesn't seem to happen. Consumer reporter Steve Noviello says he's got answers to the most common questions when it comes to avoiding some of those tax scams, because we don't want those. Can't deal with that.
Breaking my heart
I know,
here.
I know.
Sneaks up on me.
You just
April
need to
15th.
Like, I
Same
need you
every
to
year.
get on us like in January. Start
Come
talking to me about
on.
this in January.
Okay, all right, yeah. Now, for next year, I'm going to do the segment 2 months earlier.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
Look, you know what? Because, and here's why: the time is the best thing. It's your best defense against tax scams. Look, the sooner that you file your taxes, the shorter the window that somebody else can file them fraudulently on your behalf. Because then when they try to, the IRS turns around and says, "Wait a second. This is already done," right? But let's take a look at some of the questions that I get from folks, because they really can help out for the greater good here. The most common one, of course, is, look, Steve, I can't afford a CPA. I think I need more help than these DIY kits. What kind of professional should I turn to? The key in that sentence is professional. Look, there is very little oversight for tax preparers. All you need is a folding table and some chairs, and boom, you got yourself a tax office. I would encourage anyone who needs assistance to at least price help from a CPA. They can actually be far cheaper than some of the expensive messes that folks come to me with because they tried to save a few bucks. You know, there is no guarantee that some of these places will be around in 2 weeks, 2 months, or maybe next year when you get audited. I prefer knowing that my tax preparer has a permanent office where I can find him any time of the year. And I'll tell you this, because we have gotten to know each other well over the course of the years, he knows what kinds of questions to ask me. You know, he knows what's going on in my personal life. Maybe you've got, you know, a child who suddenly is of driving age, and he'll say, "Hey, did you happen to buy a new car? There's a tax credit," or "Did you get married?" or whatever the case is. All of these kinds of things that personal relationship can really help. And again, if you haven't priced it out, I think you will be surprised at how inexpensive it can be.
And we're trying to answer some of the common questions our viewers have had. So here's one. Is it okay to let a company take possession of your refund and then send you the balance after their fee is deducted? So the benefit, of course, is that there's no out-of-pocket
But that's
expense.
my money. I want my money to come to
But,
me, and
yeah,
then I'll pay you.
exactly.
Yeah, no money out of pocket. I think that's why so many people
Like that
are so
idea.
enticed by that idea, right? And I've got at least a dozen phone calls on my desk right now from people who let that happen and are now regretting it.
Yeah.
Look, folks, this is the worst thing you can possibly do. Do not allow somebody else to direct deposit your money into their account and then say, "Oh, we'll just send you the rest." Because what happens? Suddenly, the fee changes. The rest is not as much as you thought it was supposed to be. Maybe they don't send you anything. Maybe they do send you something, but the check bounces, right? The way that it works in my guy's tax office is he prepares, it's no money out of pocket, he prepares my taxes, then I pay him, and then he files them, right? So there's no cash up front until he does the work, and there's of course no refund until I make my payment, and that's how to have an equitable relationship here. Allowing somebody else to take your refund and send you what's left over is not a great idea, even though I know that it sounds good on the front end. Real quick before we go, a lot of folks asking me right now this time of year, how easy is it to get an extension? Well, it's very easy. All you have to do is fill out the forms, but let me be clear. Getting an extension is only an extension to file, not an extension to pay. And this is a big problem that a lot of people have. They think that what they're getting is an extension to pay, so they file the paperwork and think, okay, I'll worry about this in November when it comes due. Not true. If you miss the deadline to pay, now all of a sudden you're dealing with fees and penalties. So at the end of the day, in order to do the extension, you've got to estimate what your tax burden is. So you may as well just clear the weekend and do it anyway, because you've got to write the check and you've got to figure out at least a good faith estimate. So go the extra mile, get it done, and get it crossed off the list. Hey, if you need some free tax advice, you can download my new podcast. The series is Basic Training. The episode, The Tax Man Cometh, right now on iTunes.
I like that he included the extension in there.
I know. And so basically he's saying don't do the extension.
Do not.
Clear your
I mean, some
refund.
people have to, you know,
Just
they'll
in
say,
case.
I don't have certain paperwork back, or they're a certain situation. And, you know, again, a tax professional can really help you identify when it's a good option for you. But if you think you're doing it because it's going to save you money or delay payment, that's not going to happen.
Thank you, Steve.
You got it.